I am Anil Kumar, and in these set of videos we are trying to understand how to graph and write equation for transformed trigonometric functions. I hope these set of videos in which we are moving in small steps, you will appreciate each and every part of transformation involved with trigonometric functions. This time we'll take cosine function. The question here is, consider the function f of x equals to a cos of k x minus t plus c. So that's the standard transformed trigonometric function equation. Now the condition given to us is the graph of this function is reflected on x-axis, has period of 2 and amplitude of 5. Write its equation, then sketch. Now let's first write down the equation for this function. It says it is reflected, that means a is negative, right? So a is negative since it is reflected on x-axis, and also amplitude is 5, so a indeed is minus 5, correct? Now the second part is it has period of 2, that means t is equals to 2. Now this value of t helps us to find the value of k. So k will be equals to 2 pi by t. So in this case it is going to be 2 pi by 2, or you can say pi is k value, right? Those of you who are doing in degrees, for them it will be 360 degrees divided by t, so which will be 360 degrees divided by 2 or 180 degrees, correct? Either way, so depending on what units you are taking, that is going to be the case, right? Now we can write down the equation. Since we are not given any horizontal translation or vertical translation, we'll assume d and c as 0. So let me write d equals to c equals to 0 for the given condition, right? So that gives us f of x. So f of x is minus 5 cos of k is, I'm using radians at present, pi x, and c and d are 0. So that becomes the equation for me to sketch the graph of this function, right? Now let us see how to sketch the graph. So let me begin by making coordinate axis. So we will, let's say that is y-axis for us, and this is the x-axis. Normally the cosine function will be kind of like what? Normally the cosine function should be kind of like this. Let me just sketch one cosine function for you. That's kind of cosine function normally you'll see, which will have maximum at 1, minimum minus 1. This will be 0, and the time period will be 2 pi. That is how your cosine function is going to look like. That is cos of x. What we need is f of x, which is transformed cosine function, minus 5 cos of pi x, right? So the time period has changed, and time period has changed to 2, right? So what I will do is, I will actually, let's forget about what we have drawn here, but I'll finally sketch the function now. Okay, let me make a new scale since the time period is different. So let me make a new scale now. Let me sketch it here for you. Since there is a reflection, we will not have maximum, we will have minimum to start with. Perfect. So it will like flipped on the x-axis. So our graph will look like something like this. Is that okay? So that is how our graph is going to look like, and this is the function f of x, where, let me extend this a bit more, where the time period for us is how much? Time period is 2. That means this full cycle will be completed from 0 to 2. So the maximum in this case will be at 1, this will be at half, and this point will be at, so the max, this is at 1, this is 1 half, 2 half, 3 halves, so 3 over 2. Is it okay? 3 over 2. And that is 2. So that is the time period, and that is how the function is going to look like. Amplitude is going to be 5. So this maximum will be at 5, the minimum will be at minus 5. As you can see, the function is reflected. So it begins with not a maximum but a minimum. But that's a very easy way of sketching your transformed function. I hope you understand and appreciate it. So go through it once again, and then we'll move on to more complicated examples. Thank you and all the best.